All right, we're going to make a quick video on ATR. Let's see. If you type in, if you have any question about anything ever, and you just type it in on Investopedia, like type in whatever it is and then like ATR Investopedia, it'll pull up and it'll give you a great little, you know, quick summary of what it is, average true range formula, what it means, and how to use it. So you guys can go ahead and read all this all you want and figure out what they say, and then I'll kind of tell you what I do. Um, And the main thing that I actually use it for is I don't want to trade something that has a low ATR via intraday. I don't mind trading something that has a lower intraday. I mean, a low ATR if I'm trading it for a swing or something like that. So an example is Walmart is a buck 66 enough to get me excited intraday. I don't know. Well, let's look at Intel. Well, Intel's a buck 25. Why would I be more likely to play Intel than Walmart, even though Walmart's ATR is higher? Can anybody tell me? Yeah, right. It's the percentage, right? So, we're dealing with a $103 stock versus a $20 stock, right? $25 stock. And so you can't just say, hey, it's a dollar ATR, I don't want to play it, or hey, it's a dollar ATR, I do want to play it. More of a percentage of what the stock moves, right? And for intraday trades, you want movement. And I keep telling you guys that I love it when Trump's president, not because I love Trump, but because the guy makes the market move huge. And, you know, just look at since he's been president, what's happened. What is this? Was this a Monday? Yep. There's one Monday. There's another Monday. Look at this. I mean, what what opportunities to buy and to make some money, right? Sometimes it'll be opportunities to sell and can't get them all right. But anyway, the volatility, day traders love it. Day traders love volatility. So that's ATR. So let's look at one. Let's look at APP. I think this will be a good one. So what's the ATR on APP? You guys know how to read where it is on my chart? Yeah, it's $32. It's up here in yellow on the where it's $32.11. Anybody tell me what that measures? Like, how do we get that? And it tells you on Investopedia, how do you get this ATR? What's the math behind it? I was wondering if you showed it. Yeah, yeah, that's so it's the range between high of the day, but how far back does it go? Does it go back to the beginning of 2024? And is this what's telling you the ATR? All of 2024's ATR was this? Yeah, it's usually 14 days. Usually. Some days you can do it 21, some days you can do more. Um, but you can change it to be whatever you want. Um, and what's funny is like if anybody uses TC2000, if you look at this volume buzz actually measures over the past 100 days. So you may see the volume buzz being down, but it's higher. See this 20 moving average right here? Right? It may show down on volume buzz, but it may show up here. And so you just make sure you know what you're measuring, right? So that you can compare things. So as APP had earnings, what do you think has happened? Well, I mean, you're going from 450 to 530 to 4. Obviously, your ATR is going up. When you have earnings, your ATR doesn't quite mean as much as it did beforehand because what's happening after earnings? What do we call this when we think of it as auction theory? what's currently happening on APP? What are we doing? Again, using auction theory type terms. What's happening and why is there such vast range? You're getting volatility expansion and you're getting price discovery, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say we're all at an auction and they hold up these Snicker bars and they're like, hey, Snicker bar, how about $1? How about $1? And then, okay, well, how about 50 cents? Well, somebody's like, I'll buy it for 50. The next guy buys it for 60, and the next guy buys it for 55. Well, the first guy opens his Snickers bar to eat it, and then he realizes, well, crap, this thing's made of gold. This is like a gold Snickers bar. I don't know what do you think is going to happen? Well, it's going to shoot through the roof. We've got new information. I'll pay $1,000, right? I'll pay $2,000, right? An ounce of gold is what now? 2,000, 2,300, something like that. And then we don't know exactly how much it weighs, so it's going to be like you're maybe there's 10 ounces in there. I'll give 20,000, right? And then all of a sudden you realize, oh wait, it's only layered gold on the outside. Oh shoot. Okay, well now you're going to drop, and so you're discovering price, and that's what creates a higher ATR after earnings, is because you're digesting all the information and you're figuring out what the market deems as fair, right? And that's your once the market deems it fair, how do we know it here in DPL? What happens? What happens when we know that the market has found fair value? Yeah, you get the TTM squeeze, right? So we look over at EXPE. Okay. Well, yeah, we're starting to find a little bit of fair value here. We're starting to get a little bit of squeeze. Consolidation's coming down. That makes options cheaper. It's worth taking a shot, right? And once we take the shot and we put in our risk and all that kind of stuff, a great way, especially if you're playing like a 5 minute or 15 minute. Let's see if we got anything. Yeah, here we go. So Airbnb's got a 5, 10. See how it's kind of squeezing across all these time frames. Next thing to do is, all right, if I were to buy this, what would be an applicable range for me to expect Airbnb to get to? Well, the average true range is $5.30, and our low here was 158. So if you add $5 to that, 550, what do you get? How about 163, 163.50? So if I'm expecting this to get higher than that level, if I'm expecting the ATR, the price action to go further than the ATR, what usually do you need? You need some kind of new info that's going to allow flow to enter into it. So if we go back to INTC's low here is 24.50, but we got as high as 27.14. That's above. So 27, so 250, 67, 268. So we've doubled up the ATR today. Why? Why do you think we've doubled up the ATR today? There's news. Because there's news on Intel, right? And so, the beauty of ATR is that, yeah, it could give you ranges, but by itself, it's like, it doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. But what I will do is if I'm playing something like AMD today, who doesn't have, and it starts ripping and I'm buying this and I'm happy and it's making money, I'll say, all right, if we get up to this, $455 range, that's about as much as I can ask it to do today, maybe a little bit more. But it's not like I'm going to wait for this thing to push up $4 to $5 and then say, I'm going to buy it right here and hope it goes higher. That's just a losing strategy when it comes to math, right? If you're at the very top of your ATR and there's no news, why would you buy there? You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I use ATR, how I apply it. One, does it move enough for me to actually trade this? Two, what are the ranges that I can get just today as an intraday trade? Um, Three, once we have news and or a catalyst of some sort, earnings or whatever, then that kind of takes your ATR and throws it out the window and says we can often double that or get 150% of that. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions on that? Like on pins, right? I bought pins and I said, hey, I like pins. I like where it's going. I like how it's curling. All right, well, what's a realistic thing for me to expect today for pins to get to? The low was 38.72. So if we were to just simply take a calculator and just use that $1.32, 132 plus 38.72. Well, the highest range would be about $40. Next thing to do is kind of line that up with some kind of VP, right? So I never use something just by itself. So if we could be like, all right, well, oh look, there's 39.60. I can go a little bit higher than that. So I think we can actually get through this, possibly. So what I would tell myself is, normally I'd want to sell everything right here. Look at this huge VP. My gosh. But in reality, if it's strong, we could get through that. So knowing the ATR, maybe I'm going to be able to squeeze a little bit of profit out of this. Maybe instead of selling 80%, maybe I'll sell 50. And then maybe I'll be like, hey, I'm going to buy it back when it comes back down because we still have range to the upside. And then, what was it, 40? Oh, that one's up here near this one. So if pins did get up here to this 40 range today, I'd probably take it all off. Good with it. I captured a buck something out of this, right? Buck 10, buck 20. And if I can capture buck 10, buck 20, I'll leave, of course, a runner on, but the day trade would be done. Oh, good job, Chris. Awesome. I love it. Did you like that book? Okay, if no questions, I'll stop this recording.